Hi, my name is Devin. Thanks for having me. How many of you, by show of hands, heard about or participated in Giving Tuesday? Right. That spirit of generosity is what makes GiveLink work. The idea that people are generous, and if a community can highlight needs of physical items, people are generous and they will help if they can. A few times a year, my wife and I receive an email about a family that suffered through a flood or a fire, and the community responds by housing them, and people will say, can you send in these particular items? And so my wife and I are perfectly willing to help. But a day or so later, we find that we can no longer keep track of the situation. Are there items missing? Should we give more things? And advocates, the people highlighting these needs, will have difficulty focusing the community on finishing that giving opportunity. Additionally, advocates suffer through a problem caused by generosity, actually. Because people give and are generous, they can often give in bulk, out of sync with items that are actually needed. And that actually incurs costs for advocates in terms of warehousing and also the sorting and disposal of items that are not needed or that are not needed at that moment. So you have communication problems, and then you have logistical problems due to dealing with physical items. So I created the GiveLink service. I'm just going to run through a quick screenshot as a way for organizations to designate staff members, to create postings that work like gift registries. So you're going to have items, quantities, and logistical details. And these can be shared with a community. A organization first registers with us. They designate staff people who can create posts. After they've listed items and quantities, they can add metadata tags to a post. And if you have a teacher who notices a student or their family that needs food, and they tag this for food, a donor organization that has registered with our service that may be a partner of the regional food bank can immediately get a notice that this post has come up and then do fulfillment directly. This is also the place where details about where to ship items or where to drop off items is kept, and also information about the condition. Do you want new items only, or are used acceptable? We preserve the privacy of recipients. We don't use real names, so if you have like a mother and child, we would represent that as a mother and child icon and then just add that directly to the posts. When links are created, a unique GiveLink URL is created for each registry, and the advocates can put that link into their social media posts and send that immediately to their community. Again, in the case where there is no community to do fulfillment, our system can auto-match them to organizations that do fulfillment of that particular type of item. When the link is sent out to a potential donor, they click on it and it immediately opens a mobile-friendly web page with all of the information. So they immediately see a verified organization as the source of this request. Then they can see the touch person, the lead contact, who has all of the information should there be other questions. And then they see the recipients and then the items and the quantities. This link also serves as the central place where a recipient can return a word of gratitude to the community that did the giving. Once the request goes out, there's only one interaction for the donor, and that is they click the pledge button. There is no app to install, and there's no login system. They click pledge, and then immediately the rest of the community can see how many other people are pledging to give the items. The touch person, who's the advocate, is also updated as to how much engagement there is for each item that they're trying to give. Currently, there are no competitors that focus on doing community giving in this particular way. Of course, you can use Facebook posts and email to kick off a campaign, but then you run into the difficulties that I highlighted earlier. Those of you who are at Startup Saratoga 2 months ago will have heard of KNIT, and Lisa is here today. That service at a one-sentence description sounds similar, but it's actually in a different space. There are two target markets. One is on the advocacy side. We want to work with places that have teachers, counselors, caseworkers, faith-based groups, people that have direct touch with people that have needs for physical items. On the other side, you have donors. So those are community-based organizations, dedicated nonprofits, but then you have everyday companies like your own where people are civically engaged and they want to do giving of food drives and backpack drives and other things. The size of the impact market in the US is quite large. There's a lot of organizations that are doing that work, and our strategy to reach them is to create success stories for advocacy agencies and then work through their own networks. Many of these agencies have sibling organizations in other cities and other states. Fortunately for me, impact sector services are compiled into directories already at the county level. We go county by county and directly market to the service administrators. And then there is literal network effect because our links are sent through social media posts for companies that have their own social media following. The link and then our company is then seen by dozens to low thousands of people every time there's a giving opportunity. The business side, there is a two-tiered subscription model. There is the pay what you want subscription model, and then there is the premium model where organizations that want reporting and other customizations can pay the premium fee. Similar to GoFundMe, we also will receive cash donations from particular donors if they want to on each individual giving opportunity. And if we can find a tasteful way to do advertisement, perhaps for the donor organizations, then we're open to that. Right now, I'm onboarding organizations that heard about the service while I was still building it. I'm being matched with some organizations through the Rensselaer Chamber to do some pilot programs, and I was recently accepted to present at 1 Million Cups in Washington, D.C. That's coming up in February. The team is just me. I'm a computer engineer. I've been building systems since the early 2000s. I recently did some work at Commerce Hub, and way back when I worked with Gail on Passport for Good. She's presenting later. We're looking for co-founders in sales, marketing, community engagement, and also one other developer. So we're looking for investment from people in the tech and in impact sector, looking for advisors, particularly those with knowledge of two-sided markets, and warm connections to Red Cross and Ronald McDonald House. I think I'm out of time for questions, but please come see me if you'd like a demo. Then I'm available afterward. Thank you.
Questions?
So questions.
Have you tried a limited test of the process, and what did you learn?
I have tried a limited test of the process. I've only come across one snag, but everything else has been smooth so far, and also the Rensselaer Chamber is going to pair me with several companies so that I can do more piloting through them. Other questions? Go ahead.
Do you feel that in New York you're supportive of what you're trying to do as a state?
So the question is about how much support I've gotten from New York. I've only been talking in the Capital Region and in Saratoga so far, and then a little bit in the Berkshires. Everyone I've talked to has responded very positively. So that's my experience so far. Go ahead.
Do you have any connections in New York City, or do you want to actually go to New York City?
I do not have a lot of strong connections in the city. I definitely want to go to New York City. All right, thanks.